Hello and welcome. This is Out Motorsports. My name is Jake and this is the 2021 Hyundai Venue Denim. This is a new car that first came out for the 2020 model year. They'll call it a crossover. I don't particularly think it's much of one because they're all front-wheel drive and they don't really ride that high, but for the modern American consumer who won't buy anything unless it's called a crossover, sure, the Venue is a crossover. And like I said, it's all new for 2020, so Hyundai didn't do a whole lot to it for 2021 except some minor packaging differences. Now, we did look at one of these Venues in 2020, but it was not this top tier denim model. It was the SEL. So there are three trim levels of the 2021 Venue. There's the SE, the SEL, and then this is the denim, which sits at the top of the model range. So let's talk about what the 2021 Hyundai Venue is, talk about what the denim trim level gets you and doesn't get you, and then we'll get it out on the road and see how it is to drive. And before we get too far into this, please take a second and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a single thing. We've got a lot more coming where this and all of our other car and truck reviews and motorsports have all come from. So first of all, let's talk about what the Hyundai Venue is. Like I said, this is not brand new for 2021, but they were new for 2020. American tastes seem to be shifting for whatever reason, and more people want crossover-y sort of things. In reality, everyone likes a hatchback, but they don't like calling them that. So Hyundai and everyone else will tell you this is a crossover, but like I said, every 2021 Venue is a front-wheel drive car, and if you look at it, there's really not that much ground clearance going on here. You're not gonna take a Venue too far off-road. So, call it what you will, but I think it's cute, I think it's fun, I think it's funky, and it's kind of like another variant of like a Mini Cooper or another small hatchback. So it's not really that big of a car. You can see I'm quite a bit taller than it. Like I said, all of these are front-wheel drive. They're all powered by the exact same drivetrain as well. It's a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder that makes 121 horsepower and about 113 pound-feet of torque. That horsepower is made at the tippy top of the rev range, right around 6,300, and all of your torque comes in the mid 4,000 RPM range. So you do have to rev this car to make it feel like it's making much power. And these Venues weigh right around 2,700 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've only got 121 horsepower to move things out, it is a power to weight ratio of over 22 pounds per horsepower. So it is going to be on the slower end of things we've driven this year, although Hyundai says that this vehicle is meant mostly for urban use, so when you're in a city environment, you don't necessarily need a ton of horsepower. You need small size, good space utilization, and good fuel economy above all else, and that, I think, is where they do succeed with the Venue. Every Venue uses the same IVT, which is just a goofy name for a continuously variable transmission, and it puts all that power, like I said, to the front wheels. They are all rated for 30 miles a gallon in the city, 33 miles a gallon on the highway, and if you are careful with your right foot like I was last night, driving this on about a 120-mile round trip, you can get over 33 miles a gallon on the highway. We got this one up to about 35. So it is definitely fuel efficient, it is front-wheel drive, it is well packaged, and it has that CVT that is changing the knot gears for you. But the denim is really interesting from a design perspective, and I really wish more companies would do fun things like what Hyundai has done with this Venue and some of their other models lately. So the denim gets you this unique denim blue paint that is unique only on this trim level, and then you get all these white accents between the roof, the mirror caps, little accents over the wheels. The Venue text on the back hatch is in white, and then moving to the inside, you've got a denim blue set of seats that are a unique mix of cloth and faux leather. And the rest of the interior, including the dashboard and the steering wheel and the door panels, is also this dark denim blue color. And then you've got cream white accents all throughout the interior. So it's really unique, it's really interesting. It is so nice to see something that's not black, gray, or tan in a vehicle interior. And I always appreciate some fun and funky going on the exterior with things like a white roof and the white mirror caps. So if you like blue, if you like the blue and white combo, the denim is the one that you're gonna wanna take a look at. Hyundai does offer some really good colors on the Venue outside of the denim trim, so you can look at the SE and the SEL. As far as 2021 differences, I mentioned they didn't really do a lot to this. They really just changed up a few items with the Venue and how they're packaged. You can no longer get a 6-speed manual transmission with your Venue. Previously, it was only offered on the SE, that was the base model trim, and all of you Save the Manual enthusiasts didn't buy any of these in a 6-speed manual, so they're not selling it anymore. so you can't really complain if you don't buy them. Otherwise, beyond losing that 6-speed stick on the base model SE also ditches the steel wheels with covers for a set of alloys, and then the mid-trim SEL just kind of switches up some of the packaging, and they got rid of what they called the convenience package that was an extra charge, upcharge, and just made all that stuff standard. So there's some different driver assistance and safety sort of gear that is now standard that was previously part of the convenience package. Now, price-wise, between the Denim and the SEL, everyone who's buying one of these is at least somewhat price conscious. This one is gonna be right around $21,000, give or take, but you can get a Venue SEL somewhere in the $19,000 range. So with all that, let's hop behind the wheel and see how this 2021 Hyundai Venue is to drive. All right, so driving the 2021 Hyundai Venue Denim. The first thing you'll notice about the Venue is that it's just a small car, both outside and inside. And this is truly just a hatchback that they lifted an inch or so. It really doesn't ride very high. It really is not very off-road capable. This is a street car, and Hyundai markets this as sort of an urban city car above all else. Now, of course, you're going to be driving this as just your car if you own it, so you'll want it to be well behaved both in the city and on the highway. So as far as around town city driving, the power and torque figures are low. The car is pretty slow, but it does not really feel that slow around town. The way it's geared with the CVT, or as Hyundai calls it, the IVT, is sprightly enough. And you can put the drive mode in sport to make things a little more amped up and just ready for you all the time, and it will increase your throttle response, which makes the car feel a little bit quicker. Now, where this all changes is when you get on the highway. This is not a lot of power, it is not a lot of torque, and it is only 2,700 pounds, but 2,700 pounds for 121 crank horsepower to move is still somewhat slow. So while this IVT, CVT does a decent job around town, keeping things quiet and calm, when you get on the highway and want to merge, it is a little bit of a different story. I'm going to put my foot down here. We did it, it was fine, but that was way more noise than anything else. You'll notice there's the blind spot monitor beeps that are quite loud, but they do work very well. They're a little overeager, so on the highway it might tell you that you're about to hit someone when you're actually not very close to them. Beyond the power and torque, this will do 75, 80 miles an hour if you need it to, but at those sorts of highway speeds, if you have to slow down for anything, if you hit traffic, if you have someone slow pull out in front of you, this really does have to work to get back up to speed. And if you have that drive mode in normal, not in sport, that's where you're gonna get your best fuel economy. It lets the transmission stay a little bit calmer and lower in the revs. If you have it in normal and you put your foot down to accelerate, you're going to have to put your foot down quite a bit. It's kind of what you get with a lot of these entry-level cars. They just don't make a lot of power, and what they do make is towards the top of the revs. This one makes its peak power at 6,300 RPM, and the red line is indicated at 6,500. So you're really gonna have to wind it out. Just kind of is what it is. But will it keep up with modern traffic? Absolutely. Will it get pretty good fuel economy doing so? Yes. We did about 120, 130 miles on the highway last night, round trip, and we got an indicated 35 miles a gallon for a car that's rated at 33. So pretty impressive there. Now, of course, this being the Venue, this is the entry-level Hyundai that you buy. There's not a lot of sound insulation, there's not the best body control. It's all fine, and I would say it's all even more than fine. It's good, but this is not going to set any new records for how it handles, especially how it handles on the highway. It does get blown around a bit by crosswinds, but it's all exactly what you would expect for a car this size. Now, the Venue SEL and Venue Denim that I'm driving both have rear disc brakes. The basic Venue SE gets drums in the back. 99% of buyers won't notice or care, but that is a difference. All of them have a McPherson strut suspension up front and a twist beam suspension out back. Again, probably not something you're going to care about if you're an actual buyer of one of these. This is not a corner carver. There is no Venue N like they have with their Sonata N and the upcoming Elantra N and the Veloster N. There's not one of these. I wish they did, because it would probably be a riot. As far as how this thing is to drive, it is not a riot. It is not particularly fun. This is a cute, quirky urban appliance that will go on the highway. It's not a fun car. I think if you had that 6-speed manual, this engine would actually be fairly fun to drive and let you have a little bit more of an entertaining driving experience. But the thing to keep in mind is Hyundai offered a 6-speed manual on the Venue, granted only on the base SE trim, but not enough people bought it to warrant it sticking around for more than that first model year. So would it be fun? Yeah. Would I love it? And I'm probably the only one who would love it? Yeah. Everyone else gets the IVT, and for the majority of people buying it, it will be fine. So beyond the driving experience, let's talk about the rest of the Venue, and especially this Venue Denim, because that's the interesting part of all this, right? With the blue and cream and all the funkiness going on. Exterior-wise, I love it. I think it looks great. Interior-wise, I also love it and think it looks great. You really don't see a lot of blue interiors anymore. It was kind of an 80s and 90s thing that kind of went away for a long time, and now we're seeing more color in interiors again. Thank you, car designers. Hyundai in particular has done a really great job ensuring that their interior designs have this mix of interesting textures and materials and colors, and with this being this kind of navy blue up top and then cream down below your knees and then interesting cream accents here on the door panels and on the seats, it's really fun. It's a different vibe, and it's just proof that, you know, entry-level cars don't have to be boring, they don't have to be staid, and you see it a lot with brighter paint colors, and in the 90s we saw it with some really funky seat patterns, but to have this be funky but reserved with the navy blue color, I think is a really interesting, unique take, and I know probably not that many people will buy this over the regular Venue SEL because you do lose the ability to have the sunroof, and if you don't like blue, then, you know, this one is very, very, very blue. But if you like blue, I think this is fantastic, and they did do a nice job making this feel a little bit more elevated for being an entry-level car. Now, the one thing I will say about this cabin, this is, of course, a small car. No one is expecting this to be limousine levels of leg room and otherwise limousine levels of interior room, but as a taller person, I am not the most comfortable in this car. I have a hard time getting my seating position right for the length of my legs relative to the position of the armrest here on the door, the armrest here in the center console, the distance of the seat belt from where it is to my chest. You can see there's an inch or so gap here, which I kind of question the safety of. So is this a car for taller people? Well, your mileage will vary. Obviously, go to a dealership, sit in one, try it for yourself before you take my word for it. But it really depends when you get to be a taller human, all about your torso versus leg ratio, and that will determine how comfortable you are in a car like this. Now, this is a no merge area, so hammer down, 0 to 60. There's 60. And you hear those simulated gear shifts from a CVT, which I truly don't understand the point of, but I guess this is how we're doing things now. And frankly, that engine, it's a little thrashy. The CVT is fine, but the whole thing is just not exciting. It's not super quick. It's not super anything. It's just an engine and a drivetrain. So is it fine? Yes. Is it adequate? Yes. Is it fast enough? Yes. Is it something that's going to excite you? Not at all. And that's okay. These are entry-level vehicles. They are, you know, they are exactly what they are. They are unpretentious about who they're here for. All right, and that is it for this review of the 2021 Hyundai Venue Denim Edition. Thank you so much for coming along. As always, please take a second, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell if you haven't already. You can also find us on other social media, Facebook and Instagram at Motorsports. And if you're looking to connect with a community of like-minded LGBT automotive enthusiasts and motorsports competitors, please head over to outmotorsports.com. We have a whole group over there, and we would love to have you join us. Until next time, please stay safe, be well, and we will see you again soon.